Okay, now we're back up. That was weird. Oh man, you try and you think that you got everything under control, but every day brings a new set of obstacles, right? All we can do is adapt and overcome. As I say in one of my all-time favorite movies, Collateral, you have to I Ching that shit, go with the flow and whatnot. Um, that's been the vibe of my whole day is go with the flow. I had a huge sales pitch this week and really thought I was going to land my first good pay or decent paying client. And I mean, it was going to started out as a good paying client. And then through our meeting today, we, talked through the price and, I kind of did something that I don't generally do. And it's like, I started to backpedal on the value I was putting on myself because like this is a new skill for me. Like this is something that I don't have a proven track record, but I think that if you know me and you've ever seen the level of like dedication I have to the client service side, you would want to invest in me while I'm cheap. Um, this is what I was offering to a friend of mine, and this has nothing to do with him taking it or not. This has to do with valuing yourself, and like I really I came home after that meeting, and I was really upset because I'd set a value for myself that was low for me in the beginning. For him, it was high, and that's fine. Coming down some is it's part of business. Like finding it a negotiable place where you both walk away feeling like you received considerable value. And by the time we walked away, not only did we not close the deal before we left the table, which is what I wanted to do, we left on terms which the longer I sat and thought about them, the less happy I was. Like I was barely going to cost or cover the cost of my management of their funnel for a year, and then everything that I would make on that would be a it would be on commission, and that would be great if the commission was high. It was not. It was a 10% commission, and that for me for offering to business to somebody, bring business, and then only capitalize on the, pretty much eat what I kill and only getting 10% of what I was killing just didn't sit right with me. And I'm really like, it ended up being a no anyway. So um, it taught me a lesson though. It's, like, if you set a value for yourself, you have to remember that it's for a reason. And you can't get too far off of, um, get so much in your head to where you start to believe that you're not worth what you set your price at, and I may not be worth it to him, and that's fine. Like him having a different set of values for what he wants for his business, if he doesn't value like the growth that I was offering or doesn't believe that I could bring that growth, I don't think that he didn't believe that I could bring that growth because at a lower price point he wanted me to do the job. Like if I could come down even more so to where I was basically uh, taking all the risk and funding making him money, and that was very difficult to see because whenever you bring money into friendships, you see a different side of people. And once again, like I don't think this was a bad side, but from a person I thought was always so selfless, I was surprised to see it, and it just changed my view of the situation. I am not a person that like I think is been extraordinary selfless over my life. Like I'm trying to work more towards that. Whenever I set my initial prices, I was like, how can we help him grow and still be able to put food in my family's mouths without me having to like work myself to the bone to make sure he's just thriving. Like that was the goal. So if my funnel built him, $100,000 a year, uh passive, income process, and I'm only getting a 10% return on that, that's $10,000 a year. Like he's, doing great on this one thing that I created for him and brought business to. And I'm not willing to put that out there like that in the future. Like, and so I just have to remember, like, this was a close call. I would have been in a very, very tough working situation in which I would have been bitter a lot of the time. If I was watching him, count $10,000 a month and pay me out uh $100 of that, that would have been really hard. Like really, really hard. And I would not have enjoyed that. And that's something that I don't want to do with my life anymore. I don't want to hate waking up in the morning because I have to do work I'm bitter about. Like, so, you know, keeping in mind that helping manage people's growth and, you know, grow their business to scale is not my passion. That's like not what I want to do with my life. But it's something that like I would enjoy doing. I would enjoy being able to help people grow and reach the people that they want to serve in life while making money to be able to help me grow so I can reach the people I want to serve. Like I don't have the startup capital to just do it on my own. I wish I did. I wish I could just focus on reaching out to ADHD men, especially ADHD dads, and helping them. Like if I could afford to fund that venture, then I wouldn't be worried about finding other people to help them find their people. But it is a very valuable skill, and I've got it. And so I'm trying to leverage that skill so I can help somebody. They can help me, so I can help somebody and still help my family. Anyways, that was a lot about what we weren't here to talk about today. Like today's topic is, I mean, we've been talking about ADHD struggles. We've hit on a few already. Today is day 7, I believe. Let me look. Sorry. I was ready, but I got, this came into my head and I kind of lost. Today's day 7. Um, Day 1, we talked about making things bigger than they are. Then we talked about masking. We talked about following through the day after that. And then we talked about hyperfixation, emotional regulation, time management. Today we're talking about self care. Um, yeah, that's actually why I kind of went off on what I was just talking about because self care can look so many different ways. Um, Taking a shower and personal hygiene, that's definitely one part of self care, and it's something that I like. I don't love taking showers, but I make sure that if I've ever got any kind of engagement outside of my house, I am clean. Um, that is, that's something that is important to me to make sure that I never let my capacity to be able to manage my ADHD be a thing that is going to make people uncomfortable to be around me. Whether that's being able to uh, filter my thoughts appropriately for the situation, or if it's being able to manage my hygiene to not stink whenever I go out, like go to a movie with somebody, whatever that is. Like I want to live my life as free as I can while not imposing my whatever on other people. Um, Unless we're in some sort of type of thing in which they're trying to impose on my thing. So, in that case, like I will be a bulldozer if I have to. But it's really important to take care of yourself because like, I was today was a situation in which it would have been really easy to spin out. Um, I talked yesterday about emotional regulation. I had this big exciting thing happening, which I could have gone over the top and been too excited about because I put all my eggs in this basket, which I chose not to do. I made the decision like this is an exciting thing and there's a lot of possibility, but there's also always a possibility it's not going to work out. And when it didn't, or whenever, there was the decision on the table and I was starting to get into like a negative thought loop about how I shouldn't have folded on my, on my prize. And like I called a friend. Like I pulled my phone a friend. Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I don't need people also. So I pulled a phone a friend and I called a fairly new friend of mine and just talked to him about like, hey, like this is the situation right now. What it looks like is like I'm going to get the upfront cost of what it cost me to just have my own account on this platform and then I will only get 10% of whatever I like, of whatever I kill. And that, that is not lining up with what I wanted at all. And he helped me, by presenting outside eyes, which is so important, reframe it and say, it's not a small amount of money. Like, as much as it only equates to A, it doesn't make B a small amount of money. So just, having somebody else say that, it's like, don't look about how you felt by, kind of feeling a little bit slighted. Look instead at the fact that it is a considerable investment, and it would be an investment that would help you a considerable degree right now. So in that, and reframing it that way, wouldn't it be worth considering? And that's what I did. Is like, I considered it, and what I landed on was, if this thing happens, I'm going to just frame it as like, okay, this is going to be a great lesson to not fall to my price in the future, but it's also going to provide me with social proof. Whenever I go to the next person, I say, yeah, you're going to pay what I'm asking, because I've got proof that it's going to work. Um, I'm still going to get that proof because I'm doing it on sweat equity for a couple people who do realize the value of it, and they're totally willing to pay like a lot on the back end. So I'm good with that. I just wanted to be able to breathe right now. Like, who doesn't like to breathe? But being able to call a friend and vent, that is self-care. That is taking some of the pressure off and getting outside of your head. I think that is a great, great, great form of self-care that is not exercised nearly enough. Um, the ADHD mind has the tendency to really get caught in loops, and then those loops feel like we have to handle them ourselves. We keep asking the question of how, like, how am I going to fix this, or why, like, why did I do that, instead of who. Like, sometimes it's better to ask who, like, who can I call to give me advice on the situation, or who knows what to say when I feel like this, who makes me, who gives me an opportunity to vent and doesn't judge me. Those are great questions to ask whenever you're in those negative thought cycles, whenever you're caught in that loop, to help break that out some, to help get out of your own mind, like reach out to somebody. And that's a great example of self-care. Also, um, I've been talking about a lot, like how we're not trying to fix ADHD. Like, that's not my goal. That's not what I offer. I will never say we're going to fix your ADHD. I would say, we are going to try to make your life more manageable with ADHD, and we're going to make you a better version of yourself that can live with your ADHD and engage in life with passion and purpose, because you're changing your mindset about what your ADHD is. It is, it can be difficult to live with. It can be a large burden, but also it can be a superpower. Like, the only reason why I'm able to even talk about this new thing that I'm doing for people, and I'm trying to offer it and sell to people, is because 3 weeks ago I learned about something and I just jumped on it. I dove into it. I hyper focused, and now I have this new skill that I didn't have before. That's ADHD for me. Like, that is my, like, that ability to just dive deep into something and absorb so much of it. That to me is a earmark of my ADHD, that I could probably learn this same thing, but it would probably take me 3 months, 6 months, if I wasn't ADHD, if I wasn't able to just really just focus down on a thing and just get down to the granular level and just learn and be so interested in it, to where I'm just like engaged and pushing forward and learning more and more, until all of a sudden I've attained a new skill, like new skill unlocked. Ba-dum. And that is, for me, what ADHD is. So, anyways, when you're talking about taking care of yourself, sometimes it's not necessarily getting like back rubs and giving yourself long baths, because that may not be what relieves the stress for you. Because that's what I want for you to care about yourself, is I want you to relieve some of your stress. So if that's going to the gym, if that's reading more books, if it's going on a walk, whatever you can do to relieve some of the stress in your life to where it's less prevalent, is going to make you adjust to your ADHD better. Stress is a magnifier of all the symptoms of ADHD, the negative symptoms, not the good ones. The good ones are not generally going to be nearly as prevalent whenever you are dealing with stress. So, except for, I don't know if this is all ADHD people, but for me, whenever I'm bearing down on a deadline, or whenever I was in the fire department and like everything was going crazy and there's, a burning building, like I just focused. I was just like, oh, there's chaos everywhere, and this is what I need to do, and I just focused on doing that. Other people would get, not in the fire department. Everybody got pretty good at being focused in that situation, but I learned that that was a strength of mine. And looking back over my life, whenever there was like, looking back at the restaurant, for example, whenever I was in expo, other people would see all the tickets piling up and get really flustered. Like they would just be, and generally, whenever I could be all over the place, whenever the tickets started coming, that's whenever my focus set in. And that's when I got excited. It's like, all right, here we go. And that's something for me is like the pressure forms diamonds. So that's also part of the, me doing the 30 days thing is in this, already in the first 14 or 16 days of doing this 30 days challenge, I've seen more growth than I saw over an entire year before of uh, coaching clients, of followers on the different platforms, of conversations about this thing that's important to me is like because I put pressure on myself and now I'm like zeroed in and I'm excited about the thing versus it being, like I recently heard a thing. It's like if you are, it's an ADHD career advancement hack number 8. If you have a deadline that's too far away that you feel like you're starting to like get unfocused on the thing, move the deadline up. Like don't ask for an advance or an extension or whatever. Just move the deadline up even closer because it's actually going to like focus you on the thing that needs to get done versus having that like that broad view of like all the things you could do. It's gonna all of a sudden is gonna narrow your focus and say this is what needs to get done right now. So that's like I haven't tried that yet, but I think it's like it's a really exciting prospect of just looking at something that I've got to have done in the next week or so and just saying actually it needs to be done tomorrow, and I'm going to say something like I'm going to text my partner and say, hey, I'm going to get this to you by Tuesday instead of next Saturday, and not because she's going to say great, like I need it by then. She's gonna know, and I've made a commitment to that. Now I have to follow through, and I'm excited to see how that works. I feel like that's gonna crank the pressure up for me, which for me is like exciting. It's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna say let's do it. So that's something you could also try and let me know. Well, what you find out. I saw a viewer a way back, and I don't know if they actually commented anything. Um, So if you are viewing right now, I've got a Twitch viewer. Feel free to throw something in the chat. We can have, I could actually talk to you. I've got two YouTube open right now. Okay, so I don't think that they're going to say anything, which is okay. Like I don't want to out anybody for being a follower, but it'd be cool if they did. You are there. Anyways, while I'm waiting for them to respond, um, what like there was another thing that happened that I want to talk. Well, oh man, talk about emotional regulation. Let's see if I can bring this into. This is my broken armchair. Like I bought this chair exactly 7 months ago, and the warranty was up at 6 months. And of course, I broke the arm today, and I wanted to lose it. I did not though. Instead, I thought like, you know what? This part was loose anyways. I don't love these arms. This is not going to be the chair for the rest of my life. So let's just make it last until we can get a new one. And I didn't do any further damage to it. On top of the irritation I was feeling from the pitch meeting, I was really proud of myself for just smoothing out the ruffles of my irritation and just like saying like, let's not do anything drastic. Let's take a minute. Um, Always a good idea to take a minute. And then once again, like I said, get yourself out of that negative thought cycle by reaching out to somebody else. And that really helped me. So I encourage that for anybody. And if I can be that person for you, still taking on 2 more coaching clients. I haven't heard anything from anybody in the last 24 hours. So I've still got room for 2 more. I would love to have a full schedule for the next couple of weeks of clients that I'm coaching for free, 4 free sessions over 4 weeks, trying to identify one obstacle that is making it difficult for you to engage your life with passion and purpose, and coming up with a plan with how we can help to mitigate that obstacle in a way that actually relieves pressure in your life and doesn't ask you to make massive, wide sweeping changes. Just maybe some mindset work and maybe coming up with a plan. I would love to provide that to 2 more people. So reach out to me. You can also go to my website, authenticidentitymanagement.com, for some free resources. They're there. I would love for you to check them out. I've got my free ebook and my 5-step blueprint for unmasking, which, if you were masking in your life, I promise you, you are not as happy as you could be. I was there, I was doing it. And if you're not sure if you're doing it, go to my website and read a little bit more, because that may be you. If you don't feel like you're fully engaging as yourself, you very well might be masking. So check that out. That's it for today. I will see you guys on the next live stream tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, because my name is Bruce Wayne. Uh, have a good night, everybody. Be yourself and love yourself. Bye.